For a long time, Nirmala Sitharaman kept on saying there is no problem on the demand side. She said, if you fix the supply side, automatically demand will get fixed. So she kept cutting taxes for the rich, increasing taxes for the poor, and saying the economy will mend itself. Unfortunately, as we found out, much to our grief, the economy did not mend itself. If you can look at print magazine, for every year since 2015 to 2020, either the former finance minister, the late Arun Jaitley, or the current finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman have been talking of green shoots. We have been waiting for 5 years for green shoots, and we are waiting again for green shoots this year. Then suddenly she realized that she has to do something on the demand side. So, what did she do on the demand side? Let's take a look. Welcome back to Berich. Nirmala Sitharaman did nothing on the demand side, did not take any steps to put money in the pockets of the people. She was facing enormous pressure from the pink press and economists from all over the world saying India has not done enough to revive demand. She went on once interview and gave an idea of a shop and said, if you increase supply, demand will automatically take care of itself. Nonsense. So she didn't, it was very clear from that interview that she had no concept of what is supply and what is demand. Demand happens even if when there is money in the hands of the consumer and he goes to the shop and buys. By increasing supply in the shop, you cannot create demand. The demand has to pull the supply. Finally, she seems to have understood that, and she has made a half-hearted attempt about a couple of months ago on trying to attempt the consumer revival. She announced initially for all central public sector units and state sector units, and later introduced it to all private companies. If you have worked in a corporate company, which I have not worked, you can get a leave compensation, a LTC component in your salary, which is tax free and which can be used once in 4 years. Now, this scheme is applicable to all state government employees and central government employees and corporates. I do not know what would have happened if in the last 3 years you have used the block. I guess you are ineligible because you are not eligible because you cannot use the block again. What she is now saying is that the scheme will be capped at a maximum of 36,000 rupees. So if you are eligible for a higher amount, even then you will be capped at 36,000 rupees. Sometimes people will get 10,000. So let us do two cases of somebody who is who is going to get 10,000 rupees and somebody who is getting 36,000 rupees. I am sure most corporates except ITs or IT companies or large corporates will be in no position to pay this money. Even let us assume that let us take that they pay this money. For 10,000 rupees, she claims to be eligible, the employee has to spend 40,000 rupees. That is to claim 10,000 rupees for the central government, state government, or a large corporate. I have to spend 40,000 rupees in total. 10,000 which I receive from the company, another balance 30,000 either from my savings or I have to borrow. Now she goes on to dictate where I should spend the money also. She says I should spend this money on any goods which has service tax of more than 12%. That is, I can buy a cell phone for 18% and claim it. I can buy a television or I can buy some consumer durable, and that is what she is suggesting. Because most articles of daily use come at 5%, and that is not eligible in this scheme. The whole calculation is somebody who will borrow 30,000 rupees and claim this 10,000 rupees or spend 30,000 rupees from savings just to get this extra 10,000 and pay for spending 40,000 rupees. I'll have to pay 12% of tax and I'll spend another 4,800 rupees on tax. That is, I will get 44,800 rupees I will spend to get 10,000 rupees. I do not know how many people will do this. Then, if you assume that you have a salary of, you are eligible for 36,000, then you have to spend 1,08,000 plus a 12% tax on that. That will take it to nearly more than 1,20,000. If I spend 1,20,000, I will get 36,000. That is, even without the tax, I'll spend 72,000 rupees plus the tax amount, because she is not clarified whether the tax amount is in the triple spending requirement. That is, you have to spend three times the money. For that, she has not clarified whether it is inclusive of GST or exclusive of GST. So basically, I have to spend 108 plus GST at 12%. So that means it goes beyond 120 to get 36,000. How many people are going to use this kind of nut brain scheme? In a situation where most people's salary have been cut by 30%, most people are not don't have lost their jobs. People in Delhi who have lost their jobs are now running shops selling sandwiches, which is the reality. She expects the elite to spend three times their LTC amount on splurge it on consumer goods and revive the economy. The rules are clear. I can't pay by cash. So I should go to the company and make payment by only a digital route. And for claiming this money, I have to give a bill or a sales voucher from the company having his GST number, specifying that I have paid 12% GST and the value of the tax. The whole idea is, her calculation is that if I give 36,000 rupees, I get back the nearly 13,000 rupees as taxes. So my payout is only 23,000 rupees. That is the short term calculation. That is, if the government gives you, before it can give you 36,000, the government would have collected 13,000. So the net payment from the government to you is only 23,000. If you are on the 10,000 scheme, you would have spent 4,800. The government to give you 10,000 would have received 4,800 and only fund you 5,200. So if you are in the higher bracket, you get more money from the government. If you are in the lower bracket, you get lower money from the government. At a time, one leading private sector bank MD says, time is not good for lending, I'm shrinking my book. He is known to be an aggressive lender in the retail market. All people in rural Tamil Nadu are saying banks are not giving them loans. In Delhi, when they went on, journalists go on the streets and ask them, nobody has heard of the 10,000 rupees scheme which she promoted where people are supposed to get loans. In the part of the first Atmanirbhar program, she announced a 20 lakh package. In that, there was a package of 3.5 lakhs of credit guaranteed loans. Nearly 3.5 months of announcing that scheme, and several extensions later, people have not used 3.5 lakh schemes. What does this prove? That any scheme given by Nirmala Sitaraman is without thought and thinking and done in such an impractical way, neither the consumer is able to implement the scheme nor is the bank willing to lend at terms she is saying, because the risk is with the bank. Unless the risk is transferred to the sovereign, there is no way banks are going to lend. Even in case of that 3 lakh crore loan, where the risk has supposedly was to be transferred to the sovereign, the conditions were so onerous that the banks and the customers could not meet it, and therefore there was no way this problem could be solved. Even before all this problems solved, she is now started to claim through her new finance secretary that the economy is rebounding and recovering. If the economy is recovering and rebounding, and that GST collection of 1 lakh 5,000 rupees, 1 lakh 5,000 rupees is a true indicator, then let we have to remind her the total GST collection between April to October of this year not only trails this year, is also trailing the year before that. And any bounce is because, as one journalist correctly pointed out, in September of last year, there was a 5% degrowth. And because of that 5% degrowth, you are having this base effect, which makes things good. Exports, which went up in September, have crashed again, and there is a negative growth in exports this month. Mr. Piyush Goyal, who came out to speak when the exports went up, seems to have lost his voice at this point of time. Unless there's a holistic package of putting money in the hands of the people, and the government is willing to spend real money in areas which can drive growth, there is no way the Indian economy is going to turn around the corner in a quick manner. Things will only get from bad to worse and we will stagnate. Any uptick in demand we are seeing is only because of pent-up demand of last 3 months of lockdown plus a festival surge. The reality will hit us in the month of December. Thank you for watching Berich. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification. If you use Kindle, you can buy the book using the Kindle link given below. If you want a hard copy, send a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would get in touch with you. At the very end, if you want to get in touch with me, please send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. I am grateful for your support of Berich.